My name is Jasmine Stoller, and this is my first YouTube video. I wanted to go live and talk to you guys about melanoma awareness. I know that's kind of weird to talk about for my first video, but I'm basically talking about it because I went through melanoma and it's kind of close to me, and I want other people to have better awareness than they do today. There's not a lot, and nobody really takes it as, I guess, realizes how dangerous melanoma is and how dangerous just getting skin cancer is. People always assume that, you get skin cancer, you just lance it off, you're fine, but it's so much more than that, and taking care of your skin and taking care of your body can be really important. So with that being said, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you my story. Alright, so I had found out I had strep throat, and this was back like in November, and I went to the emergency room whenever I was diagnosed, and then shortly after that I got this rash on my hands and my feet, and it felt like I had been burned. So I was in a lot of pain and I couldn't walk, and I went back to the ER and I'm like, what's wrong with me? What is this? And she's like, oh, you have scarlet fever, which is kind of unusual. I guess it's more common in adults, she says, my doctor did, but it's normally you're not supposed to get scarlet fever after 15. Well, anyways, she said I had that, and she continued to check my body just to make sure that there was nothing else that was weird and unusual that was going on with me besides that. And when she was checking, I've had this mole on the middle of my back that's about this big. Well, whenever they did one of my surgeries a long time ago, they had poked through it with a needle. And after they did that, it seemed like it was growing. Like, it kept getting bigger and bigger. And I had eventually asked one of my doctors before that if it was okay. I was like, hey, like, it's getting pretty big. Like, it's almost doubled in size to what it was, or maybe tripled. And he's like, no, it's fine. It's still round and it's still one color. If it starts to change colors, then I would consult with a dermatologist and let them know right away what's going on. And so I was like, okay, I blew it off like it was nothing. And then whenever I went to the ER and that doctor reviewed me, she looked at me and she looked scared. She was like, you might have cancer right there. I'm going to send you a referral right away so you can get it removed, checked out, whatever needs to be done, because it doesn't look good. And I was, ultimately very upset and crying. And so finally, I was like, okay, I'm going to schedule the appointment and we'll get it figured out. So I go to Beaverton, and the doctor that's in Beaverton actually scheduled me to come in and just be seen and then take a sample of my skin. Once I got there, they were like, oh my goodness, that's fairly good size. We're going to take the sample. There's a good chance that it is melanoma. We're going to have to take the sample right now. Do you want us to scoop it out of your back, or do you want us to cut it? Well, if they scoop it, it's just a big hole in your back, and so they have to take a sample of your skin. That's the only way they can test you for melanoma. So I basically said I wanted him to cut it and sew me back together because I didn't want a big hole in my back, like that big. I wanted as little scarring as possible, what I could manage anyways. So he went in, he shot my back with that numbing that they use for your mouth. It's like Novocaine. They just put it in shots all around, like 20 of them, at least 18 to 20 shots around my mole where they were going to take it. Well, they did that. That was probably the most painful part because, you feel that pinching in your mouth. Well, I felt that all over my back, and it's way worse inside of those muscles. It literally does feel like you're being stabbed in the back. Anyways, they went ahead, and my friend was with me there, and they were like, you want your friend over here? And I'm like, no, like, I don't want to traumatize her. I'm already traumatized enough. She stayed over there, and that was fine with me. They started a cut, and I could feel the pressure from the cutting, and they went probably like that far down. And then they cut through the bottom, and I could feel him the whole time, and it's just pressure. It wasn't a lot of pain, but it was a lot of pressure, and it really freaked me out. And well, he was cutting, like, he was there a while, and I tried to, like, make some jokes and make light of the situation, because, I mean, you can't change what's going on. But he finished, he sewed me up, he soldered me together, so basically used like hot, like fused my skin together right there after he sewed it, because I had to go home that day. I didn't realize that it was going to be like that. I actually ended up staying there, but at first I was gonna go home, and yeah, it wasn't the best decision with what was going on. But anyways, so fast forward to 2 weeks from then, they called me and they were like, you do have melanoma, we need to see you again. And they had me to go to OHSU here at Portland, and that's the Oregon Health and Science University in Portland, Oregon. I met with Dr. John Vetto in the oncology department, and he scheduled me, well, him and his colleagues scheduled me for my surgery. And when they had talked to me, they let me know that my melanoma they needed to cut more from my back in that area, so they ended up cutting about that much of the middle of my spine. So it's like going down, like they come out and goes back together, but they sewed it together, so it's one line now, and it has little holes where it was pierced together with stitches. So he went ahead and told me, like, we're gonna need to take more of that. We're gonna have to take your lymph nodes wherever that travels to. So they shot my back with radioactive dye and sent me to the nuclear medicine department. And nuclear medicine put me through a CAT scan, and they found a trail leading to my right armpit and leading to my left groin. And if you don't know, like, your lymph nodes are in your neck, your armpit, and your groin, and they help you fight infection. Like, same if you get like a cut on your skin, that clear stuff that comes out, that is part of your lymph nodes making that to help you recover new skin. Like, your lymph nodes protect your epidermis, they help you heal, like make you healthy again when you're sick. So they're important, you need to have them in your body. Well, when you have melanoma, there's a good chance like you're gonna lose some, and they took some of my lymph nodes out of my left groin, and then they ended up taking a drainage pathway is what he called it, so basically right here, but it's on my side. And so I have an incision about 2 inches on my right side. I have an incision about 2 inches above my left leg. And then I have an incision down my back about 6 inches. And that one is pretty brutal and gnarly looking. Not gonna lie. I'm kind of somebody who cares, like I care about my body. I'm not like extremely healthy. Clearly, like I need to work on some things. I'm a little chubby, but I guess you could say that I cared. Like when I was younger, I had a beautiful body. I liked being able to look at myself and be like, wow, I look amazing. Like I don't really get a lot of stretch marks, and I like the way that I am. And now that I've had the surgery, it's really sad for me, you know? Like I look in the mirror and that's what I see on the middle of my back is this big old scar. And I guess, you know, when I was in the nuclear medicine department and I was in that machine, I thought to myself, you know, what if I don't have hair? What if it gets worse? What if this? And all I thought after that was, just be grateful you get to breathe air. You get to see the people that you love. You get to wake up each day and feel the sun in your face and smell the flowers outside. Don't be thinking about what tomorrow could be. Think about what you could do today and where you're going today. Anyways, I had to, you know, pull myself out of some dark places, because when people tell you you have cancer, you don't know what level that's at, and things can come back, they can reoccur. So like for me, they did all of that surgery, and I have a 5% chance that I can get it in that same exact spot where they took it. I have a 15% chance that I will get it anywhere on my body. Nobody else in my family has this. It can be passed through DNA, but it wasn't passed through DNA for me. UV lighting is normally like going outside, going and tanning. That's what causes it. So if you're an excessive tanner, 1 in 3, you're more likely to get melanoma, tanning. And if you are a male, you're more likely to get melanoma on your back. Females, it's on their legs. I mean, for me, it was the very middle of my back, like right down my spine. So I don't technically fit statistics really. Sometimes you can get it inside your mouth, on your eyes. There's all kinds of places that melanoma can end up that's a rarity. Even in your bones sometimes. If it advances to your lymph nodes, it can be lethal. It's very difficult to treat at that point. And also, depending on how thick your melanoma is how fast it could recur. I got lucky, and at OHSU they did a $8,000 test that normally is not required, but they do it there as they do it so that way they can promote it should be done. And I think it's awesome, you know, like normally nobody would get that done at all, and no insurance company would pay for it. But now they have that, and there's people that are trying to promote it so that way they can help prevent it in the future. Because that test will check my DNA, and I mean, if that DNA changes in the lab at all, they can let me know right away. They can be like, hey, like, we need to see you back in. Your melanoma here in the lab is doing something weird, and we want to make sure, you know, like, that's not happening to you, or prevent it before it's happening to you. That's amazing. Like, that's saving lives. If it goes into your lymph nodes, like, you don't even know how much and how important that is to somebody who has cancer. Also, I wanted to just let you guys know, I mean, it's summertime right now, and I get everyone wants to go outside and have fun. And I'm not saying don't go out, don't have fun. I'm saying put on sunscreen and wear that sun hat. Who cares if you're a little bit warmer? Be fashionable, be whatever, but don't be half dead at the end of the day because you wanted tan skin. Like, it's not worth it. It's not worth it to change your body so that way you can fit into what you think society is. Why don't you change the way you look at yourself? Change the way you feel about yourself and realize, hey, I am beautiful in the skin that I'm in. Don't ever give that up, because that's what makes you special. That's what makes you somebody in this world. Like, if you're just sitting there and you don't care and you just go along with what everyone else does and do whatever, it's not right for you. Like, at the end of the day, where do you get with all of that? Doing stuff that other people think is good, or things that you've been put in your head to think that's attractive, like tan skin. Is that really, you know, bleaching your teeth makes them unhealthy, but people want white teeth. But I mean, after a while, your teeth start to turn yellow with coffee and whatever else. You should just appreciate you the way that you are. Nobody is perfect. Everyone has their flaws. And everyone is beautiful in their own way. That's the message that I really wanted to send today. And I hope that you guys, you know, realize how serious melanoma is. You don't just take it lightly, because, I mean, I did. I didn't really think, you know, that it was going to be that big of a deal. And even after they were like, hey, you might have melanoma, skin cancer, I was like, oh, you know, like, I've heard that they just burn it off. But that's not always the case. Like, it can be much worse. And if anything starts to change on your body, you need to let your physician know right away. It's serious. It's not something that can wait a little bit longer. Because if it gets in there, you're pretty much SOL. You are going to be fighting a really hard fight. If anyone has any questions, you guys can post them in the comments. I hope that you guys have questions. If you want to send me anything on Jasmine's Dollar Beauty on Instagram, or if you want to add yourself to the group Crazy Beautiful Ones that is on Facebook, then I'd be happy to answer any questions for you. I have Jasmine's Dollar beauty page as well. If you guys want to comment or message me on there, I would love to hear from you. I hope that you share this with your family and you look up skin cancer and think about it a little bit more and protect your skin and take care of yourself and your family. That's all I really want, and that's all I hope for you. Thank you for listening, guys.